What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back at it again with another episode of Stats Over Politics. For the audio only listeners, this is just going to be another Dent takeover. We got the one and only Alex Dent, and you got the host of the show today because Shaun and Todd are not going to be here, the one and only Kevin Dent. So we are going to recap all of the games from game one of the NBA playoffs. We've had a lot of good games. We've had a lot of stinkers. So sit back, relax. This is episode 187 of Stats Over Politics. Before we get into this, Alex, how you doing today?
Man, I am happy. All day basketball, all day weekend basketball. I can't. The best feeling in the world.
And for those of you that do not follow us on Instagram, we will drop our daily picks for the 4 games and then the 3 games and 2 games. And once we get to the NBA Finals, and we are keeping tab of the records throughout the playoffs. And if you guys saw, Alex was the only one who chose the Orlando Magic. So I'm doing great. I told her this morning, I'm back. I'm coming for you. And then she chose the Orlando Magic. And I said, Alex, you're insane. And she said, Kevin, if they're going to get one, it's going to be tonight. So we are going to go in reverse order, Alex. So we are actually going to start with the Orlando Magic beating the Pistons 112-101. So tell the listeners not only why you chose them, but why they doubled down and came in and got the W for you.
So I was riding high with the Orlando Magic since the jump last year. They haven't had a pretty season. I know there's a lot of injuries, and they don't seem like an 8th seed to me. So I thought if the Magic have any shot in this series, which I still think Detroit is going to win, probably in 5 or 6, the Magic have to get game 1. And that's exactly what they did. The Pistons were a little lazy, lackadaisical, I would say. The Magic had to come out the jump. And it seemed like even though the Pistons throughout the game were inching towards taking the lead or even tying the ball game, like the Magic would just, okay, let's just turn it up another notch. So I'm interested to see about the adjustments they're going to make in game 2. I think it's on Wednesday. But I still have the Pistons winning this series. Rob, I'm leaning more towards 6. But Detroit's probably going to win the next 2.
Yeah, they made a good point on the show, on the air. They said, the Pistons haven't played in 11 days, and then you had Cade Cunningham miss all that time beforehand. So they had a lot of time in between. And then with teams like the number 1 seed, like the Thunder, you're not playing the last 2-3 games. So they've been out for multiple days. We just saw the Thunder, or not the Thunder, we just saw the Magic lose the first playing game and come in and really wipe the floor with the Hornets. So they came into this game really ready to play. Like Alex said, the Pistons came out and kind of just expected them to lay down. We saw Cade Cunningham beat Cade Cunningham, going for 39 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. But with the Pistons, it always comes down to what are the other guys going to do. They have another all-star on this team. They have another possibly all-NBA player on their team. And Jalen Duren, Wendell Carter, Paolo Banchero, they really came into this game and said, we're going to let Cade kill, and the other guys have to beat us. And the other guys did not come to play. They had nobody on the bench score more than 6 points. And besides Tobias Harris, no other starter scored over 10 points. So this Pistons team showed their youth today. Yes, I get it. They went 7 with the Knicks last year, and that was kind of their first taste of it. But when you're the number 1 seed, you go from being the hunter to the hunted. And they showed up today expecting for them to roll over. And I have to give credit to what Alex said earlier. No one looks at this Magic team like an 8th seed because Desmond Bane, Franz Wagner, and Paolo Banchero only played 26 games together at 82. Whether it's Desmond Bane being hurt, Franz being hurt, Paolo being hurt, they've never really had a chance to gel. And Wendell Carter said it best. When Desmond Bane's on the floor, it gives everybody a chance to kind of take a deep breath. He's a veteran. He's been here before with a lot of a young team that's really never been in the first round. Desmond Bane brings that experience. Yes, he's never been to a conference finals, but he's been out of the first round. So he's played in these big moments, and he's able to really get them over that hump. So, yes, we get it. Paolo Banchero played well with 23 points, but Franz Wagner, he's been hurt a lot this year. He put up 19 points, and then Desmond Bane and Wendell Carter both put in 17. And then Alex's favorite guy, sarcastically, Suggs, was hooping today. And he really brings that energy. Like, I know he's a defensive guy, but for him to hit 2 threes to start the game really set the tone. Do you have anything else that you want to say on this game before I leave?
I will say one thing. As much as I love the Orlando Magic, I do have them losing this round. Banchero's been playing out of his mind lately. I mean, he had not so his season this year did not reach the bar or the level that I think everyone expected he would make, especially like that jump from the last season's playoffs. I think they lost in 7 to the Cavs last year. That may be 2 years ago. I'm not sure. So
Did they play you guys last year? In the first? I can look it up. Keep going.
Anyway, I know they played the Cavs that one year, and I thought that was when that following year he was going to make that a session, and he kind of hasn't yet. And so I think he's going to cool down a little bit, but he's been balling. And another thing I noticed just by looking at the box score, all of the starting 5 from the Magic have played at least 32 minutes each. That's something I'm going to be looking at going forward, because I don't know if that is a good game plan going forward. Especially
it's giving New York Knicks.
Yeah. And I was about to say Detroit goes deep. So, I mean, but then again, I look at Cade Cunningham. He played 40 minutes. So, Cade Cunningham is the engine for that team. So, I understand that. But I don't know if you could play your guys that many minutes and try to win multiple game 7 series. So,
yeah, before we move on, 2 years ago was the Cavs series. Last year, the Celtics beat them in 5.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
So they're starting to get a little bit of experience, but unfortunately, they don't have experience outside of the first round. But you come out playing like this, you never know. It would really shock the NBA if the Magic were able to win this series. So like I said, we're going in reverse order. So the next game we are going to cover is the Oklahoma City Thunder beating the Phoenix Suns. So today with the Magic game, we saw a playing team coming in, playing off that momentum and really thriving. This was the opposite. And I'm not here to shit on the Pistons, but the Thunder is just a different beast. I don't know about Alex, but I think I know her well enough to think that we don't think the Suns get a game. I don't think the Thunder are going to mess around with them. And it showed this game. You know, they got up early, just like the other game we're going to talk about today that was also a blowout. But they got up early, and they didn't really mess around anymore. Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green and Devin Booker are all the Suns have. And Jalen Green scored back-to-back 35-point games. I was talking to Toddy last night. He had that one big game against the Warriors and then stunk it up. And we're all kind of waiting for, as Jalen Green supporters and watchers, we're all kind of waiting to see, was that a one-off or is he going to be able to bounce back? And today, I think it shows that it was just, 2 really good playing games, scoring 35 points today. He followed it with 6 of 16 shooting, 17 points, 2 of 7 from 3. They don't have a chance in hell to win a single game if Jalen Green does not show up. Devin Booker, God bless his soul. I have been screaming from the rooftops that he needs to leave. I want to see him play really well. I want to see him play on a contender. I want to see him get back to the finals. But then again, they're here because of him. 25 points in a row for 8 seasons in a row. No one expected this team to do well, and they're here. We talked about our teams that did the most unexpected or like the most surprising team, and I think we all have the Suns. For them to do this, and then they don't have a Mark Williams, they're doing all this kind of as a negative because they're not ready yet. But for them to get here shows a lot. And yeah, I get it. The Warriors kind of burnt out, and they kind of got a pass to the 8th seed. The Thunder are messing around. We finally get to see Jalen Williams healthy. 22 points, 9 of 15 from the field, and he hit 2 threes. SGA being SGA, affecting the court on all terms. And he didn't even have a 30 ball. He only finished with 25. But for Jalen Williams to have 7 rebounds and 6 assists, this Suns team is just undermatched. They don't have the size. When the Thunder can put out a lineup of Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein, you're going to be in for a long night only playing one big. So Dylan Brooks is essentially their 4-man, and he's going to have to guard Chet. And Chet went out there, 16 points, 2 of 6 from 3 with 7 rebounds. And then we just talked about the Orlando Magic really not having depth. That's the complete opposite with the Thunder. The Thunder are playing 3 guys off the bench with 20 minutes, and Alex Caruso, AJ Mitchell, and Isaiah Joe. And then Alex Caruso only played 13 minutes because he didn't have to, but they understand if this game was close, Alex Caruso could have played. So this team is loaded. AJ Mitchell was literally a guy who didn't play a single minute in the playoff run, and now he's a contributor. This Oklahoma Thunder team looks scary. I get it. It is good against the Suns, but I mean, I don't know who Alex thinks is going back-to-back, but we're going back to the finals. I will definitely put the Thunder in the West representing. Alex, I know you didn't get a chance to really watch this game. Do you have any quick thoughts on it?
I'm looking at the box score. Grayson Allen didn't play. I think that could help the Suns. I don't know. I know he has a hamstring strain.
Yeah, he's hurt.
I don't know when he got that. I'm not aware. I'm hoping he comes back into this series. Not thinking this is gonna shift the series,
anything.
but like it can make it the Suns. They don't get blown out by almost 4. It can make it a little bit more exciting. Or 30, whatever that math is in my head. Like you said, I think the top 3 for the Suns is not great compared to the OKC and their depth and things like that. And I do think that OKC played almost with like a chip on their shoulder a little bit. Even though I honestly don't think they have anything to prove. I think they have probably one of the easiest routes to a chip in a minute. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm excited to see how the rest of the series goes. I think this is probably going to be a gentleman's sweep for probably the next 3 games. I think they're going to be very close, especially when you go back to Phoenix. I think they're going to be a dogfight. I think it's going to go down to the wire, but I just think the Suns don't have enough. And like you said, I feel bad for Devin Booker. I love his loyalty. I'm always for players for loyalty, especially with the whole conversation around like Damian Lillard a few years ago, leaving and then coming back and just realizing that like, yes, winning a chip is a lot. And that's kind of what a lot of players, that's what you strive for. But in all honesty, like you want to do it where you're at, where your family is, where your community, what you built, right? And I feel like Devin Booker has built that in Phoenix, and I just don't see him leaving. And I respect the hell out of that. So he's just never going to win a chip. But they're going to lose.
Agreed. So next game, as for the audio-only listeners, Alex is a big Celtics fan. She has a Celtics jersey on. I don't know what number, but it is a Celtics jersey. Jaylen Brown. All right. So I'm going to swing it to you first. Oh, you didn't get a chance to really watch it, so I'll go first.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Sixers lose game 1, 123-91. And this is my pick to come out of the East in the Boston Celtics. I feel like they just really ran into a wall as in the 76ers. Jason Tatum really getting his rhythm back. And if you're scoring 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists, a damn near triple-double, and you're not even 100% yet, this Boston Celtics team is going to be scary. Jaylen Brown really struggled early on, but he was able to get his shot going. 26 points, 2 3-pointers, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. This team is loaded. We talked about the depth of the Thunder. We talked about the depth of other teams. This team has to be up to one of the deepest in the league. I understand it was a blowout, but they had a guy in Peyton Pritchard that played 34 minutes off the bench. They had 4 guys play over 15 minutes. And granted, yes, this is a blowout game, so maybe that's not the same every game. But to have that kind of depth and to have that belief in your team, a lot of these guys, the Jordan Walshes, the Baylor Shermans, the Luka Gards, the Peyton Pritchards, like they have a lot of experience and they have a lot of confidence because they had to play without Jason Tatum. So a lot of these guys had to step up. And when you talk about guys stepping up on the Celtics, you have to talk about future first-team All-NBA, Jaylen Brown. He deserves it. I think he should have been the third nod for MVP. I get it. People want to discredit the last 10 games because Jason Tatum was back, but Jaylen Brown got them there. A lot of people said this team was going to tank. A lot of teams said this team wasn't going to be any good, maybe an 8th seed. This team has been carried this far to the 2 seed because of Jaylen Brown. So we have to give him his respect. On the 76ers side, no Joel Embiid. I don't think they get a game.
No.
It was very evident today that it's Tyrese Maxey or bust. And I get it. Paul George, I'm always going to be a big fan. I just don't think he has it anymore. I don't think he's a number 2 option. VJ Escombe, first playoff game, 34 minutes, 13 points, 6 to 16, 0 for 5 from 3. Just didn't have it tonight. But like I said, this team is going to be very, very good. They have a lot of youth. So I think once they get off the Paul Georges and the Joel Embiids of the world, this 76ers team can make some moves. But this bench is abysmal. They're playing a lot of guys that they can't really shoot. They made 4 threes tonight. I don't think that happens again. They went 4 of 23 from 3. And it's hard when you say you went 4 of 23 and the Celtics go 16 of 44. They're just not making shots. And Alex and I know, being basketball aficionados, role players play better at home. So we hope the Sixers kind of have that same kind of environment in their game 1, or game 3 will be their first game at home. But I would say this game will be a sweep. I know you didn't get a chance to watch much. So what were your kind of thoughts on the game?
Yeah. Just to let everyone know, I work part-time at my church. And so I had the game up, but I was working with, and I was working in the toddler room. So I was holding a baby and I was showing her, that's Jaylen Brown with the ball. And she was just like, I don't really care. Anyway.
Yes, Lord.
So just off rip, I knew Celtics sweep. I really didn't need to watch this game. I think everyone knows Celtics just have too much. And I think they've come alive a little bit because of the comeback of Jason Tatum. And so this team is looking really deadly in I wouldn't say a weak East, but they could go back to the finals East type of thing. So just off rip though, if the Sixers needed to win a game, it had to be today. Because what do you mean Hauser and Derek White combined for 22 points? Like, this is the type of game where you have to win. Like, yes, did Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both get 25 and 26? Of course. But like, their supporting cast, there's a variety of different points, especially off the bench and some of the starters, but like, it's not crazy numbers. You just have to match Jason and Jaylen. That's all the 76ers had to do. And they didn't even match up to that at all. Like you said, Maxey was the only one with 21 points. Paul George, PG-13, or I think he's 8 now. Ugh, I don't like that. Had 17, and he needs to be better, but like they don't have a shot. But I am intrigued. Is Embiid gonna come back after getting his appendix, right? I think that's the surgery he had. I'm interested
appendix, yes. I don't think he comes back. That would be a huge ask. Because the normal turnaround for that is 4 to 6 weeks. So that'd be a hell of a turnaround. And like we both said, we don't envision them winning even with Joel Embiid. No. Like I said, Joel Embiid can get you one.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid can get you one.
Yeah, Joel Embiid will get you one. But yeah, this team is a sweep. I don't even think it's a gentleman's sweep. I think it's like literally probably each game is going to be more than like 12 points. Yeah, that's about it.
So, for the audio-only listeners, you see the 2 Eagles jerseys, and then you see that man, rookie year, 2003 LeBron James. So, it's only right that we get into the Los Angeles Lakers beating Alex's Houston Rockets, 107 to 98. I get it. Oh, Kevin Durant didn't play. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear none of that shit. Because you know what? LeBron James came in there and did his damn thing. 19 points, 8 rebounds, and 13 assists. He did 2 steals and 1 block. This man is 41 years old. This team is playing phenomenal right now. We've seen him kind of turn that gear, being back to being the number 1 option since Luka and Austin Reeves have been down. LeBron James is going to win in this series. They're saying Luka might return. You know, there's a game 6, game 7, but Austin Reeves for sure will be a game 2 or round 2. This team looks good. DeAndre Ayton looks like DeAndre Ayton that we thought he was going to be. 19 points, 11 rebounds, really being an efficient player. Marcus Smart, 15 points. Who would have thought? You would have thought his hair was dyed green and he was wearing a Boston Celtics jersey. But we got to talk about the man, Luke Kennard, who played on LeBron James' AAU team. 27 points,
Right.
5 for 5 from 3. He scored 27 points in one Laker game. Gabe Vincent played at 9 and scored 21 points. Hell of a trade. Hell of a trade. Let's talk about the Rockets. This game was going to come down to Alperen Sengun. And 19 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. He did all he could. But I really want to talk about Reed Sheppard.
Yeah.
For you to go in there and have the confidence to shoot 14 threes and make 5, hey, man, you got it. Everyone gets to kind of flourish without Kevin Durant. Excuse me. I'm not saying Kevin Durant is a shot chucker, but Kevin Durant is the nucleus of that offense. And they kind of just orbit around him. But for him to go down and these young guys to kind of get a shot, we got to see what everyone sees in Amen Thompson. 17 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, a future all-star. Like, he was able to handle the ball and do everything they want to do. But we saw when it got to crunch time, this was the exact reason they brought in a guy like Kevin Durant to come in here and hit those big-time shots. Jabari Smith did his best he could. This team really came out here and played, but they, like we talked about with the Pistons, they had no bench production. Tari Eason had 16 points off the bench, but besides that, no one scored more than 4 points. And when you got to kind of play in a situation where you need to win a game on the road, and that production isn't going to do it. You got Jabari Smith and Amen playing 43 minutes, Reed Sheppard playing 36, Alperen Sengun playing 36. You know, you're really saying we're going to live and die by these 4 guys. And that just goes to show if Kevin Durant plays, yes, these other guys don't get the shots they took, but they will find a way to also be productive, because if they weren't, they wouldn't be the 5 seed, 4 seed, 5 seed. 5 seed. They will be the 5 seed because yes. So hats off to the Lakers. I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but I did say they was going to win. Alex picked the Rockets. I don't know why. I get it. Katie was a late scratch. I get it. But even with Katie, give me Braun. Not 1, not 2, not 3. Give me Braun at 6, okay? LeBron James in 6 games, getting to round 2. And when he wins this series, the GOAT debate is over.
Are you done?
I'm done. It's all you.
The floor mine? Okay.
Yes.
I understand you said the Rockets live and die. So let me start from the jump. I still have the Rockets winning this series, but KD has to come back. I did not know he was a late scratch off. If he was a late scratch off, I would have gave this game to the Lakers too. I understand the Rockets offense. I understand how KD is positioned in this system. If they don't have KD, they really don't have a bucket getter, you know? So I understand that. And you know what? I'll take it. If KD comes back at least before game 3, I still have the Rockets winning this series. There's no, sorry. KD is the GOAT. Sorry, I said it, not LeBron. Now, back to your comment about you live and die with Jabari Smith Jr. and Amen Thompson, obviously getting more than 40 plus minutes. LeBron played 38. LeBron cannot sustain 38 minutes for 6 games. There's no way. There's no way. I'm sorry. Maybe you have 1 to 2 games per series where he can give you this type of numbers at that minutes production. I don't see LeBron doing almost 40 minutes every game this series, and you expect him to drop almost a triple-double. I just don't see it. And so, yes, and then Luke Kennard had 38 points or 38 minutes. So, like, you live and die with those two, too.
But you lived. The Rockets died.
You know what? It doesn't really matter who wins the series because they're going to lose to OKC.
No, I don't want to hear all that. We're talking about round 1. All right, we'll worry about round 2 later. Don't let the Timberwolves win.
I understand you said the bench didn't do well for the Rockets. I mean, obviously Easton got 16, but look at the Lakers bench. They didn't do much either. And DeAndre Ayton, yes, gave you 19 points and 11 rebounds. Totally get it, right? But is he always going to give you 19? Is he always going to give you those type of numbers? Who knows? He's so iffy sometimes. I just don't trust it. So I'm not saying this is a great game one, like put their foot down their throats. You know what I mean? I think the Lakers could be way better. This could have been an easy 20-25 point blowout by the Lakers, but there's a lot of gaps they have to address if they want to get out this series as quickly as possible so they could face OKC. Because you don't want a 7-game series and then 2 days later you got to go to OKC and with some young bucks. You don't. If I'm the Lakers, I don't want that. Right? Let's get this done. Let's move on to the next. But yeah, I don't. KD has to come back. KD comes back. Rockets in 7.
I just want you to know they're gonna play the Spurs, not the Thunder. The Thunder will have to play the Nuggets.
Oh. Okay, so I had that backwards. Poor Thunder. I mean, not poor Thunder. Poor Nuggets.
Yeah.
They have like the hardest. This is probably I was talking to Dad.
I know what you're gonna say, but let's save that for the Nuggets game. Let's stay there for the Nuggets game.
Sorry.
So we are going to move on to the New York Knicks beating the Atlanta Hawks 113-102. I know you got to watch this game, so do you want to go first for once?
I sort of watched this game. This is my nap game. I knew the Knicks were gonna win, right? I'm not a big Knicks fan, but I do believe they could beat the Hawks and probably they should sweep them. But knowing the Knicks, they'll drop a game. So I probably have them in 5. I think the Hawks. If they make a few adjustments, I could see them potentially game 6. But I think the Knicks. They gotta, which they haven't shown all season. So I don't know why I feel like they're going to do it, but they gotta show like that dog in them. So I feel like they will, and then they'll slide, and then they'll lose 12 out of the last 16 games or something like that. And that's kind of been the up and down season of the Knicks. And for the Knicks to come into this season talking about the East is wide open, this is your opportunity. This is the best shot they got at a chip in probably the last.
Since Patrick was playing.
26 years since the 2000 finals. So, like, this is it for the Knicks. I'm not saying next year ain't there, you know what I mean? But, like, this is it. If you really want to try, this has to be the season. But, yeah, I don't think the Hawks have enough. It is an exciting series, an exciting game because of what happened with Trae Young 4 years ago. That city still hates that boy. That is crazy. But exciting series. I think the Hawks may pull out one. Probably the next game, whenever that is. But yeah, other than that, I should see the Knicks winning. The Knicks should win. And if they don't win, then they have to blow everything up.
Oh yeah.
I'm worried about this series. But maybe I should be now that I'm talking myself out of it.
If the Hawks were going to win one, it was going to be today or yesterday, excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't see CJ McCollum giving you 26 again. Okongwu hit 3 or 4 threes, so that was really big. The big guy that I was kind of disappointed was in Nickeil Alexander-Walker. 6 of 17 from the field. Just really didn't show up. If Jalen Brunson doesn't score 19 points in the first quarter, and then dig themselves in that hole, I think this is a different game. I chose the Hawks to win game 1, and just a little bit of spoiler for tomorrow. They're winning game 2. They're going to get one on the road because the Knicks don't look great. They were up 17 with about 4 minutes left, and the Hawks cut it to 7. Like, they were right there. If that Jalen Brunson explosion doesn't happen, this is a whole different game. And like I said, he had 19 points in the first quarter and finished with 28. So he really didn't have it going outside of that first quarter. That first quarter, he hit 3 threes, didn't hit another one all night. But it talks about the other guys. Karl-Anthony Towns, 25 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, doing everything out there, being what we expected him to be when they traded for him last year. I gave Cat a lot of grace because to be traded 3 days before the season, really a whole culture shock. You got to move. You're coming from the Timberwolves where you have a rotation to the Knicks where you're playing 38 minutes a night. a lot of things changed for them overnight. But Mitchell Robinson, Jordan Clarkson, Landry Shamet, those guys didn't. The box score might not show, but they had very impactful plays. And we talked about, how Tom Thibodeau ran them to the dirt. Jalen Brown, Jalen Brunson, 36 minutes. Mikal Bridges, 32 minutes. Josh Hart, 37. Cat, 33. OG, 38. So they're playing a shit ton of minutes here, too. But Mike Brown is definitely got to give his bench run. Besides Jordan Clarkson, everyone played over 15 minutes off that bench, being Miles McBride, Landry Shamet, Jordan Clarkson, and Mitchell Robinson. Like I said, if they don't have that Jalen Brunson spur in the beginning, I think this game looks a lot different. I think the Hawks are going to make the adjustments and come out and win game 2. But moving on, we have 2 more games to cover here on episode 187. This is going to be a very short episode. Just wanted to get game 1 content out there. And yes, I know the Portland Trailblazers and Spurs are playing. It is currently 87-72 Spurs. Fourth quarter with 11:44 left. So we will definitely recap that game tomorrow when we come on at 7. But like I said, just wanted to get out the game 1 content because starting tomorrow is already game 2s. So these games are flying by. So moving on to the next game, with the last of 2 games that we want to talk about, the Denver Nuggets find a way to come back and beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 116-105. For the audio-only listeners, Alex and I have big smiles on our face because our dog Luna just came into the chat, so W's in the chat for Luna. But Alex, you were talking about this hypothetical run for the Nuggets. So before we get into the Wolves game, expand on that thought.
So I'm looking at this bracket, and I was originally right. OKC is going to play the winner of the 4-5 series. So they're going to play the Rockets in my
Alex, I don't that's not right.
That's what it's on the NBA app.
Oh, well, then LeBron lied on his podcast because they said they were gonna play the Spurs or that's what I was going off of. I ain't gonna hold you. So he might have been wrong. But anyways.
You literally Oh goodness gracious. I'm sorry, people. This is Stats Over Politics. Remember that. The Nuggets, it's actually insane. And I think they have the hardest run I think probably any team has had, probably since Dirk Nowitzki in 2011. Because what do you mean you have to go through the Timberwolves in game 1 or in the first series, which they could beat the Timberwolves in like 6 games. But like the Timberwolves don't make it easy for them either. And they never really had. And I will say, the Timberwolves and the Nuggets, I feel like is the one true rivalry in the NBA. Like it's must watch TV since that 2024 playoffs. Like every time they come up with each other now, I have to tune it because it's going to be a show. Jokic is going to put out a triple-double, and Ants wants to get on someone's head. You know what I mean? And Nas Reed's going to do some crazy Nas Reed stuff, and Jamal Murray's maybe we'll throw a heating pack on the court. Who knows? So it's so much fun seeing those 2 teams play. But if they come out of that alive, right, they got to play the Spurs. And I'm not saying they can beat the Spurs or the Spurs can beat them, but it's going to be a tough matchup. That's all I'm saying. And then after that, then they have to play OKC. And then after that, then they go to the finals. And then they play whoever comes out the East. And like Kevin said, it could be the Celtics, it could be the Knicks, it could be anyone, right? And so for the Nuggets to play 3 consecutive hard series, definitely 6 to 7 games probably each, to then get to the finals, I'm interested to see how they navigate this. Because to me, with the Nuggets, their starting 5 is great, but all it takes is one pulled hamstring from Aaron Gordon or one rolled ankle from Jamal Murray, and things get a little shaky. That's all I'm saying. But going back to this game originally, it was great. It was fun. The Timberwolves, I mean, I think we've all agreed they've just been kind of average this whole season. They haven't really improved. They haven't really not improved. But like, I felt like they were average the last 2 seasons as well, and they made it to the Western Conference Finals both times. So like, okay, like I'll take it. But I do think the Nuggets are gonna pull out. I want to say 7, but it's probably 6. I would like 7. Who doesn't want 7 games of this series? But like, it's probably going to be 6 with the Nuggets. But I don't know. Ant could do something, and they can't guard Ant. No, I just, but no one could guard Joe. Yeah, I don't know. But I think the Nuggets are going to pull through, but it's going to be really hard on the Nuggets. And if they pull through, do they even have enough in the tank to get through the Spurs? And then do they have enough after those 2 series to get through OKC? You know? And let's see what they're about.
This game, did you watch this game?
A little bit.
The Timberwolves started off really, really hot. Jaden McDaniels was playing really, really well.
Yeah.
We all understand that Anthony Edwards is coming off of an injury, so that definitely showed. But if the Timberwolves want to make another run, Julius Randle has to play better. I text Wesley. Everyone knows Wesley. One of my good friends, Wes, is a huge Timberwolves fan. And I text him. I said, if you can do it all over again, do you think you'd keep Dante and not Dante? Who with Cat? I don't know. Would you rather keep Cat over Julius? He's like, yeah. Cat brings a different dynamic to this team. Julius Randle is very inconsistent, but when Julius Randle is playing well, he's playing fucking well. So it's really hit or miss from him. It's real seesaw. When his highs are high and his lows are low. I don't think there's going to be another game where you get 17 and 10 out of Rudy Gobert. That was huge for them. That's why they got off to such a good lead. But Ayo Dosunmu, huge fan of his game. For him to come off the bench, 14 points and hit 3 threes was really huge for them. He really was the only person off the bench. Naz Reid has to play a lot better. Former 6th man of the year, Naz Reid has been glorified for this off the bench role, and he just didn't show up today or yesterday, excuse me. But Jamal Murray, man, I have been the biggest Jamal Murray hater forever. Since the bubble, I was like, dude, I think that was just a hit or miss run. 30 points, 16 free throws, take that with a grain of salt. 7 assists and 5 free throws or 5 rebounds. His fingerprints were all over this game. And then we got to talk about the Joker. He couldn't get a shot going early. 13 rebounds, 11 assists to go with 25 points. Those 2 guys are going to take this team as far as they want to go. I know Cam Johnson isn't Michael Porter Jr., but he does what he needs to do. 2 of 7, 12 points. Aaron Gordon played really well, 8 rebounds and 17 points. You got guys coming off the ground. Tim Hardaway, a 6th man of the year candidate. Bruce Brown. You definitely see that they need him more than he needs them. We haven't seen this Nuggets bench been the same without him, and to have him come off that bench shows a lot. And I think when they get Peyton Watson back next round, the Nuggets are going to be scary. So moving on to the very last game of the NBA playoffs, round 1, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers beating the Raptors 126 to 113. Alex, what are your thoughts on this game?
I'm very transparent and honest. I have not really tuned into a lot of Raptors games this season. I know they've been playing well. I tuned in a little bit just throughout the season, like I do with every team, but my eyes were really caught up to them. So I think this is a great series. I'm actually really excited for this series. I understand that it is a 4-5. It is the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Toronto Raptors, but I think I think there's a lot on the line right now, especially for the Cavs. You're a 4 seed. You gotta make it out the first round. You really have to make it out the second round too. This is it for the Cavs. If you can't do it, then things have to change top to bottom. I don't know what those changes are gonna be, but you gotta do something because this is getting really ridiculous, right? And then with the Raptors, they're so versatile and they could switch on anyone because they're so long that I feel like it makes it a little bit difficult for the Cavs at times. And I think they have a great coaching staff. I think they have They have very versatile players that they can make these adjustments. I think this is probably a 6-7 game series. I think I want to give it to the Cavs, but I don't know. Brandon Ingram, if he really wants the ball, he can and take them home. They can. But first game, 17 points, wasn't great. But I mean, they could still get the job done if they really wanted to.
I mean, shit, 17 points on 9 shots. It's pretty good. He mentioned in his post-game conference that the coach really wanted him to become the screener because they weren't switching off of him to kind of open the things up for everybody else. But he played a hell of a game. He kept them in it early.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know Emmanuel quickly was going to be hurt for the first couple of games. That hurts. Jamal Sheed coming the starting point guard. 17 points and 5 threes. I don't think you're ever going to get that again. I mean, shit, Scotty Barnes hit 3 threes in a row in the first quarter. RJ Barrett, 24 points, 3 threes, being what everyone thought he was going to be out of Duke. This Raptors team is fun to watch.
Yeah.
I just don't know if they can. I don't know if their 3 can hang with James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, and Evan Mobley. Talking about the Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell averages 33 points in round ones. So he is an electrifying basketball player. He got off to a slow start, but for him to hit 4 threes and still score 32 points after having one bad quarter goes to show a lot. James Harden really being what Darius Garland couldn't be. 1, he's healthy, and 2, he's a defender. Darius Garland's a very small guard, and so is Donovan Mitchell. So playing with 2 small guards really can hold a team back. But James Harden, I'm not saying he's Stephon Castle or Asar Thompson. He's not a cone. Evan Mobley, 17 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Well, like I said, James Harden scoring 22 points. And then the man that I don't know what you think, Alex. I think number 2 should never be worn in Cleveland. Never. But fucking Max Strus, I was like, damn, who's Kyrie? That 4 threes, 24 points in 24 minutes. He was lighting their ass up all night, and he's still getting into his rhythm. He's still getting into his rhythm. They have a very deep team. They got the Keon Ellis of the world, Jalen Tyson, Dennis Schroeder, Max Strus, and then you also have Jared Allen. So this team is very good. And the way the Pistons look tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if they can get by them. I get it. It's only game 1. Alex and I being basketball aficionados. Game 1 really doesn't matter. Game 1 is a toss-up. I mean, it is. I mean, you don't really know what team until you get to play them. But like everyone says, their playoff series don't start till the road team wins the game. So it's going to be very, very good. So that is going to do it for episode 187 of Stats Over Politics. We will be back probably not tomorrow. The times are going to be really weird because we have these games that don't start till 7. So I'm envisioning more probably every 2-3 days, so we can give you guys just these overall recaps of the game 1s, the game 2s, and things like that. But please stay tuned. We will go live on random days, so please subscribe. Please turn on those notifications so you can see us when you do. Please continue to follow us on all social medias, X, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Like I said, we're going to come out and give you guys the content that you guys want. And if you're too busy to keep up with the NBA playoffs, Stats Over Politics is going to keep you in the loop. So that is going to do it for episode 187. This is Kevin Dent and Alex Dent signing off. Any last words, Alex, before we cut the stream?
No. You can't put me on the like that.
Like always, ladies and gentlemen, go Birds. We will